memorial all started for me back in the 90s when the city of Snellville had a veterans memorial, Vietnam Veterans Memorial in front of the city hall across the street from the current city hall. And there was an eternal flame that was on top of that memorial. And every year, from I'd say probably 1993 through 1998 or 1999, as long as I was involved with the VFW, we always laid a wreath at that memorial on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And then in 2005, the new city hall was opened, and the memorial itself was brought from the old city hall to the new city hall. But they didn't bring the eternal flame with it. And I think partly because I don't think that they really realized the significance that that eternal flame had to veterans, and it was a secondary thing. So we lost the flame. And I always missed it, because it was always something I looked forward to when I went through town to see the flame. So I decided I'd like to put the flame back on the memorial. Barbara Bender, who's on the city council with me, had served in the council with a former city councilman named Chad Smith, former mayor pro tem. And Chad was an architect. So I'd never met Chad formally. I'd seen him in passing, probably knew who each other was, but we never really spoke. And I called him and asked him to meet me out here at City Hall one Friday that I had an idea about a memorial. So we met out there, and within 10 minutes, he had a drawing of pretty much what you see out there. Some refinement, but basically that memorial. And with the tower, with the sculpture, with the flame, with the fountain, it just came to him. And then he turned to me and said, look, I'd be glad to do all this for you. I'd like to see the city have this. So that meant all the architectural work, which is $40,000, $50,000 worth of work was being donated. Then he called me a week later. He says, Tom, he says, I know this engineer that's a West Point graduate, works for Haynes Gibson, is a Somalia veteran, and they'll do all the engineering for us. Another $40,000, $50,000. I mean, you know, it was like kind of.
Really incorporated 5 different symbols, and those were the body through proportion, the circle, the flame, which we have an eternal flame, and then water and stone. And through those 5 symbols, they came together to create the memorial. The idea was that as we stacked up bricks and stone on top of each other, that it would become more than just this form, that it could take on something else. So the first symbol that we used was the circle. So what we did is we arranged the memorial in a half circle so that it would represent an in-between, this holding on and letting go for people, so that the monument would become something therapeutic that people could come to. And then the next symbol would be proportion, or the body, so that when you enter this outside space, we wanted you to feel enclosed within it. It is dimensioned to the proportions of the human body. So you take the body, and if you look at the memorial, the height of the wall is equal to the width of the wall, and that is also equal to the height of a person. And if you were to go, you could draw a square between the distance between the fountain edge and the face of the wall, and then that would also equal the distance from the ground to the top of the wall. The third symbol is the flame, the eternal flame, and the flame has always stood for remembrance, and it was important to us that the flame would be at the highest point of the memorial. The fourth symbol was water. And water has always had a rejuvenating effect. And one of the things that pleased us the most was the sound of the water. When you entered into this half circle, that it would echo, and that it would become a tranquil, serene space that you could reflect upon the names on the wall, and you could reflect upon your own life. And with that, the sculpture comes into play. So you have this sculpture that's made up of 5 different legs, and each of these legs standing for a branch of the United States military. And within that sculpture, you have the 5-pointed military star that points to the water wall. So it's encouraging you, leading you to the wall of water, and then at that point you discover this quote by John F. Kennedy that really is sort of this reflecting type of quote on your own life, and then you also see your own reflection within the water. The fifth symbol is stone, and stone throughout the centuries has always represented permanence. There's always a debate when you make a memorial, what type of architectural style do you choose? What's the most appropriate architectural style? We felt that we wanted to fit into the context of City Hall and the Senior Center, so we chose a more traditional vocabulary, and with that, stone was a part of it. And the idea being that the wall of veterans would support the stone above. So if you were to take this literally, the veterans are supporting the stone above, and on that stone is inscribed the words, "Freedom is never free," so that in an essence the veterans are what have made this our freedom possible.
Served the United States Navy as a petty officer, 3rd class, interior communications electrician. I spent 27 months in Vietnam, and I was discharged in 1969. When I went to get discharged, I was flown into Treasure Island, California, which is where all the Navy Marine Corps were mustered out of the service at that time. And the first morning that I got there, all of us who were getting out, there was about 35 or 40 of us in this one area. They came in, they gave us all chits, which are like passes, to the PX, to the ship store, to go buy civilian clothing. And we looked at each other and said, that's great, but why? And that's when this chief petty officer said, well, the Navy has decided that it's not safe for American servicemen to travel home in uniform. Well, we were shocked. I mean, what do you mean? We just fought for the country. But this was a time when, it was the My Lai massacre, and we were everything but American servicemen, and our own generation was split between those who served and those who didn't like us that served. So in all the major airports at that time, in all the major airports, there were protesters. If you got off the plane in uniform, you're spit at and stuff like that. I mean, it's sad to think. It's even hard to believe it even happened now, but trust me, talk to any of us that were there at the time, it happened. And it left an indelible mark on us. When I went home, I come from a very small town in Pennsylvania. When I went home, it wasn't like I came home from war. It was like I came home from vacation. It just wasn't discussed. Nobody, my friends didn't discuss it. I didn't discuss it. It just never. I don't think that I told anybody I was a Vietnam veteran from 1970 to 1986 or 87. I mean, if somebody asked, yeah, but you never saw Vietnam veteran bumper stickers. You never saw Vietnam veteran caps. You didn't know who served and who didn't serve because none of us talked about it. Thank God that's gone. And I think part of that in me is what drove me to build this memorial.
On the wall says it all. Freedom is not free. So many have paid the price, the ultimate price. And I thank God for all those men and women who have paid that ultimate price, so that we can live in a country that's free with liberties and freedoms that we so richly enjoy today.
The wall, excuse me. The wall means an awful lot to a lot of people. I'm a Navy family. My grandfather, my father, my uncle, my brother, we all served in this, and all of us got back safe. And there's so many that didn't. And that's what this means to me. And hopefully the young people of the younger generation will all want to serve and help our country.
I brought my father's flag because I wanted people to know, for most people, especially the young ones that are coming back now, this is all we get. This is all that's left of my father. A flag for a country he served. When my time comes, that's all that's going to be left of me. This is what America is about. This is what freedom costs. This is what Memorial Day is all about.
But the one monument to me is really a salute to all of our veterans. It is the best thing that ever come to Gwinnett County, one of the best things that come to Gwinnett County, and I think it's a very dignified piece of structure to represent our veterans in this community, veterans who have served and some that's going by. Freedom's not free, some has to pay. We pay it with our lives.
A lot of people, if you ask them what the Memorial Day means to them, last day of school, vacation, barbecue, and the patriotism of this country is leaving. And hopefully we can get it back. You know, we want people to really know what Memorial Day means.
I served in Vietnam from 1969 to 1970, and I was very proud to serve for my country. I think the monument is probably special to all Vietnam veterans because life wasn't real good when we came back, so this isn't easy for me to talk about it, but it's a special thing, and we want to thank Tom Witts and thank the people in Snellville that put this together. So, thank you very much.